Hi again, guys. We're going to do our second part of the rounding lessons. We're going to have the numbers get bigger, and we're going to try to start moving away from that drawing a number line every time. That is a resource, that is a strategy you can use every time, but I'm also going to show you some of those tips we mentioned yesterday about what numbers you can look for to decide. If you noticed the pattern while I was working, if the number after the place where you're looking at, give us a new number, was 4 or less, it was let it rest. It stayed at that place value it was already at. So let me use some numbers so I can talk through that. So we'll use another 4-digit number. We'll say 5,272. We'll just go 5272. Okay? If I'm looking for thousands, I'm looking here. I know in my head from the work I just did that my options are either going to be 5,000, where I already am, let it rest, or 6,000, one more. Okay? I look here. Well, is that 4 or less or 5 or more? That's 4 or less. So that means this number rounded to the nearest 1,000 is 5,000. Okay? I can do it just by looking next door. We're going to build an anchor chart together to get some things visually to stick in our brain. So let's do that together. So on the anchor chart, I have a visual representation to kind of show you what we've already talked about. So that 4, if on a number line, you're seeing it on this side of the halfway point, you're going to be staying within that same place value that you were already at, or letting it rest. And then 5 and up, you are going to go, it's going to be rounded to the nearest place value up. Okay? So if I'm just looking at a number, let's say this is my number, 4,758. We'll say that's our number. And if the directions say round to the nearest we'll say 100. Round to the nearest 100. Okay, we're going to, step 1, we're going to underline the place value that it's referring to. Okay, so I would underline the 7. Because it says 100. So I would underline the 7 because it's in our 100th spot. Step 2, I want you to think this is something you're going to have to do mentally, what are the 2 options that it can be? So think two options for answers, or what are the boundary? What are the boundary numbers? Okay, so if thinking on my number line, what are the boundary numbers for this? 4,700 and 4,800. Something I did mentally, just so I know if there are any other answers as options, it can't be those. Okay? So I know it either has to be 4,700 or 4,800. So, step 3. Step 3, I'm going to look at the next number. At number, let me be more specific, number to the right. Look at the number to the right. So that next place value over. I'm going to look here. Okay? And this is where I get to decide. If I was placing it on a number line, I would do that now. If I'm moving towards doing this more mentally, I'm going to think, step 4 is decide to go up or stay. And you follow this rule. 0 to 4, stay. 5 to 9, up. Okay? So since this is a 5, I would be going up. And remember I said my two boundaries were 4,700, 4,800. I'm going up to that 4,800. Once you start practicing a few, this will get a little bit easier. So let's do exactly that. Let's practice just a couple following these steps. So let's say I have, so you guys can still see that angle just a little bit. Let's say that I have 7,924, and I'm rounding to the nearest 10. It's hard for you guys to see. There we go. Maybe. Rounded to the nearest 10. Okay? I'm going to follow these steps. Get that in there too. I'm going to underline the place value I'm focusing on. Think, what would my options be? I can either think that or I can actually write it. So my options would be 7,920 or 7,930. I'm only changing the tens place. Okay? And the 0 after. Then I look next door. It's a 4. So I know that falls on this side. So that means it's going to stay. So 7,924 rounded to the nearest 10. 7,920. Let's use the same number but do hundreds. I'll erase all my work here. Rewrite. 7,924, my hundreds, I underline. Step 1, think of my boundaries or write them. So my boundaries would be, oh, look here. At 9, you have to go up. So actually the next 100 is going to get me to 8,000. So it's either 8,000 or, oh, so, I'm so sorry. That's not. 8,000 or where I already am, 7,900. Okay? I look next door. The 2 is going to be on this side, meaning I'm going to stay where I am again, 7,900. And we'll do one last one for the thousands. Same rules apply. I'm going to underline where my focus is. Then I'm going to think about what my two options are, or those boundaries of the number line, which would be 7,000, where I already am, or 8,000. I look at the next number. The next number is 9, which is closer to there. So rounded to the nearest thousand is 8,000. Okay? Following these steps and thinking of your boundaries, making sure you're only focused on that place value is going to help you get the right answer for rounding. Now you're going to practice some today.